Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host Paul, aka the guy who misses vision like a hole in the head, and this video we're breaking down some WandaVision theories. The show is slowly giving us answers every week, but some huge questions still remain, namely who the big bad of the entire season is. Now, though Monica came out blaming Wanda for it all at the end of episode 4, I personally believe that this is a red herring and that she's actually being manipulated. We're not even at the halfway point of the series yet, and with 5 episodes remaining, it makes more sense that this is a misdirect and that the real villain is hiding in plain sight. The greatest trick that the devil ever pulled was convincing the world that he didn't exist, and throughout this video we're going to be discussing why Tyler Hayward is potentially the big bad of the show, along with a lot of other theories. The first of those is actually who the person under witness protection really is, and I think that we've finally figured it out. Now, though I have seen a lot of people guessing that this could be Dottie, from what Jimmy says, we know that it's a man.
Down the road in Westview, and this morning it looked like he flew the coop.
So Jimmy saying he flew the coop narrows it down to being only the male characters. Initially, I did think this might be Norm due to the communist comment in episode 2, however, I've started to think that's unlikely due to his face appearing on the board. Other than Dottie, the only person who doesn't show up on it is the mailman. Now, this is likely because all of the characters on it are from episode 1, and Sword hadn't come across them at the point of assigning the IDs. However, after rewatching all 4 episodes back to back, I think he does give us some hints to his true role on the outside. From the sword necklace and the beekeeper uniform, we know that upon entering the bubble that there are certain things which hint to us at what a person was actually like outside, and these are altered to fit whatever sitcom style it is. Someone under witness protection normally gets put there for giving information, and a mailman's job in general is to pass things on. Mailmen also move about from place to place, and this could signify that he's not just been stationary in Westview. In addition to this, when we see the character in episode 2, Agnes says to him, "Stick 'em up."
Stick 'em up.
Oh, don't shoot, I'm just a messenger.
Pew, pew.
From the trailer, we know there's a big Halloween scene in which Agnes tells Vision that he's dead, and it seems like she knows what's going on in the outside world, and therefore I feel like with the stick 'em up comment that she's making jibes at him, because if anyone caught the guy, he'd be a dead man. Just make sure you kill him after he delivers my PS5, yeah? Now, this mailman scene in the show comes across very out of place, as it pretty much stalls the entire moment and doesn't seem to mean anything at all. On my first watch, I was a bit unsure why they even left it in the edit, as it's almost pointless unless it has a deeper meaning. With the hindsight of him being a messenger that relays information, to me it does hint to him being the person under witness protection due to what he says. Now, as for the true big bad of the show, I believe that it's in fact Tyler Hayward, who could actually be Mephisto or the Grim Reaper. Though Wanda is now thought to be the show's antagonist, I think that the Eastview police officers existing outside of the bubble show that someone externally is influencing those that go there. As we know from the ending of episode 4 with Monica, upon leaving the bubble, one is aware of what went on inside, and they're able to tell others. Thus, I think this kind of shuts down the theory that the police went inside and then came out with their mind and memories altered. To me, them being under this control cements that someone else has influenced them to keep stum and not breathe a word of what's going on. They would have to exist on the outside to keep them under this hypnosis though, as when someone enters the bubble, they seemingly fall under the control of Wanda. In order to pull off this level of mind control, the person would have to have incredible abilities, and therefore it could be that it is in fact Mephisto doing this. Now, throughout the show, we have seen from Agnes that she's mentioned her husband Ralph, who up until this point hasn't been seen at all. She's almost mentioned him as much as I've mentioned Mephisto in these breakdowns, and we haven't seen him either. Now, we've been told that he looks better in the dark, and that their anniversary is June 2nd, which is the day of the first Salem witch trials. However, we still haven't had a look at him, and it could be possible that this is because he actually exists outside the bubble. Now, whilst we don't know if Mephisto is in the show for definite, and let's be honest, I'm going to look stupid if he's not, there have been some other minor clues laced throughout the 4 episodes. The trip to Bermuda, baby, could be referencing the Bermuda Triangle, aka the Devil's Triangle. The setting of New Jersey could be a nod to the New Jersey Devils, and I probably should have stretched before reaching this hard. However, The word Big Red has appeared at several points, including on a cinema placard and as the name of the chewing gum that made Vision act like my mum when she was pregnant with me. Now that obviously explains why I'm such an idiot, and there was also a pregnancy book which looked very occult, and hexagons have appeared at multiple points. These are clearly tied to Wanda and the Westview reality in general, and therefore we can take that they have some significance in the show. So far we've only seen them in the bubble, except for one time in Tyler's office when his accomplishments and certificates were laid out to form a hexagon. Shoutouts to New Rockstars for pointing that out, and Tyler also sat in front of a wireframe map of the world, perhaps showing what his plans could be down the line. Tyler's job description could also be a hint towards what he actually does as well. The show is of course based heavily on sitcoms, and it's been theorized that some of the characters that are part of it are actually acting in order to trick Wanda into going through with their plans. It's very fourth wall breaking at points, and there could be a clever clue that's already been given to us about what Tyler really does. His position of acting director has two double entendres in it, and if we take it literally, he could be the director of those acting in it. There's of course the word acting, which ties into what's going on, and a director in general is someone who works behind the scenes, telling people what to do and making sure that they keep to his or her vision, pun not intended. Hayward was also the only character outside of Darcy that knew about relic radiation in general, perhaps hinting at to how long he's been around for. If you also take the idea of Sword being a mirror of S.H.I.E.L.D., then we already know that Alexander Pierce was a bad dude, and the clues just all sort of fit together if you want to see them. I think we know that going forward, Monica will probably follow in her mother's footsteps and ascend to be the director of the agency, and in order to do this, Hayward is going to have to get out the way. He's pretty much grounded all their operations and made the company look at Earth rather than the stars, meaning that he's very much an opposite to what it is that they do. The guy just doesn't seem to fit the role for me, and whilst he may not be the villain, something about him seems off. Now I have thought about this theory for a while, well over the weekend, yeah, which is like a year in heavy spoilers brain time, and the main thing that I always got hung up on was why would Hayward send out one of his best agents to spy on Wanda? I couldn't get my head around it, and then all of a sudden it made sense. He wants to frame Wanda so that she brings about her own demise, and then he can come in and get what he's really after. To me it seems like the plan the entire time was to get Wanda pregnant and steal her kids so that he could use them for his own nefarious means. The first part of this was done through Mr. Hart asking why she and Vision didn't have children, and then the reinforcement of the For the Children event made it so that she created them. Hayward knows that she's one of the most powerful beings in the universe, able to alter reality, and thus he has to turn the world against her so that the Avengers, Doctor Strange and so on eventually help to take her out for him. We know that Benedict Cumberbatch is going to be featuring in the show, and he's likely going to pop up at the end when she's gone too far. With her out the way, and then Vision only likely being alive because she's trapped in this reality, Hayward can come in and take custody of Tommy and Billy. The reason that he sent Monica in was so that she could see firsthand that Wanda was controlling what was going on in Westview, and that they had to stop her in order to save the town. Monica, being one of the best agents that S.W.O.R.D. has, would be a powerful testimony to just how far that Wanda has gone off the deep end, and thus everyone would turn their eyes towards her and away from what could really be going on. Now if you know the source material, then you know that in the Vision and Scarlet Witch graphic novel, that Billy and Tommy were actually carrying demon souls. If this is carried across to the series, then Hayward's plan could be to take them under his wing, and then rule over the Earth with two of the most powerful mutants on the planet in Wiccan and Speed. I mean, who else are they gonna go to if their mother is killed? The fallout from Westview will make it seem like people with incredible abilities need to be kept in check by the government, and then Hayward would pretty much gain custody of them. That is of course just a fan theory for now, but I think when the guns start pointing towards her, we may see that someone behind the scenes has been manipulating the events of the series for their own ulterior motives. That would be the acting director directing those to kill her. Anyway, just shut up. If you're enjoying the video so far, then I'd massively appreciate a thumbs up, and also make sure you subscribe to the channel for coverage on the show each and every week. Cheers. Now, another thing I've been thinking about is the return of Maria. As we know, Westview is a place where the dead can come back to life, and I actually think that the show purposely showed us Monica's big loss because further down the line her mother will return in some form or another in order to tempt her. Monica will likely be pivotal in the destruction of Westview, and a powerful driving force against this would be potentially being reunited with the person she never got to say goodbye to. We know from the conversation between her and Hayward that Monica is the first person to return to work, showing that she's likely trying to bury her head and distract herself from what's going on. There's also an image of two women hugging on a news bulletin board shown at Sword, perhaps hinting to us just how bitter Monica probably feels, being the only person who seems to have lost out. I definitely think that we had a big focus on the death of her mother early on in her arc to show us the one thing that could tempt her down the line, and I wouldn't be surprised if Maria doesn't return in some form or another. Now, speaking of people returning, we also learned from Hayward that there were several snapped astronauts that were in space who are now stranded after being brought back by the blip. This could easily set up the Fantastic Four in the MCU, and I would love to see their upcoming films tie directly into this. As we know from the early mentions of Wakanda, Thanos and so on, Marvel love putting things in place that they can then build upon. I feel like this line is definitely setting up what's to come. Anyway, those are our main theories after episode 4, and I'd of course love to hear yours in the comments section below. As a thank you for interacting with the video, you'll be entered into our prize draw on the 28th of February, in which we're giving away 3 copies of the Marvel Phase 3 box set to our subscribers. All you have to do to be in with a chance of winning is like the video, make sure you subscribe with notifications on, and drop a comment below with your thoughts on the theories. The winners of last month's competition are on screen right now, so if that's you, then message me on Twitter at HeavySpoilers. If you want something else to watch, then make sure you check out our breakdown of the 4th episode, which will be linked on screen right now. We go over the best Easter eggs in it, give some more theories, and just talk in general about where the show is going. Love it if you watch that, but if not, thanks for sitting through the video. I've been Paul, and I'll see you next time. Take care, peace.